Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully complete our social media project. So now we will start another project, and that will be one of the e-commerce project. So step by step, now we will build it. So for doing this, first of all, I want to create one of the projects. So if you want to create that project, then I think you already know about it. So now I want to create this project in our exercise file. That means in our desktop, that is our exercise file. And here I have already created two of this project. One is a blog project, another is a social media project, right? So now in particular that area, that means in particular this folder area, I want to create another project. So here I just simply define as a CMD. And now here I want to create one of the project. So if you want to create one of the project, then what exactly you have to do? I think you already know about it. So you have to define as a Django. Right, that's Django, and then admin, and then I just define as a start project, right? That is a start project. And now I want to define one of the project name as a my ecom underscore project, right? So here I define one of the project as a Django, admin, and start project, and my e-commerce project. So automatically it will be created one of the project in particular that folder area. That means here, right? So now I just want to click as a enter, and now you can see it's automatically created one of the project in our particular that folder area, and that is our project as a my e-commerce project, right? So now first of all I want to take this project in our Atom. So that was our before project. So now I want to create as a new open folder, and that is our exercise folder. And here now I want to select our this folder, that is my e-commerce project that I have created, and now I just open this project. So here I have added. So right now we don't need this. I close all, I remove everything. So that's all the default things. So I just simply remove it, here remove it, and remove it. So friend, that is our new project as a my e-commerce project, and here there is our all that folder, and that is our manage py. So I think you're already familiar with this structure, right? So now first of all I want to create some of the essential folder that will be needed for our project. So first of all I want to create one of the folder. So here I create one of the folder as a templates. So everything I have already discussed about that things with you, right? There is our templates, and also I want to create another folder as a media. So I just simply define as a media folder, and also I want to create another one for the static all that file, and I just name it as a static. Right friend, and now what exactly we have to do? We have to add all that our media, static, and the template in our OS. So go to our project and go to the setting, and into the setting area. So that is our inputs. We have to import our everything on here. So now first of all I want to import our template, right? Templates underscore directory, and then we have to define that OS and then our path. So here OS path we have to define. So I just simply define as a path, and then join with our base directory. So that is our base directory, and with the base directory we have to define our folder name. I have already created one of the folder as a templates. So I just simply define the template. Okay, templates, perfect. And also I have to join for our static folder. So static underscore directory, and then OS, and then path, and then join with our base directory. So here I define as a base directory, and here we have to define that our folder name. So I just simply define that folder name on here as a static. So that is our static folder. And also there is another one as a media. So it will be as a media directory, media underscore dir, and then the OS, and then path, and then join with our base directory, and here we have to define our folder name as a media. So now we have to add our this template directory. We have to add this template directory in our templates area. So that is our directory. Here we have to defining it, and also we have to create another URL, that means in our static. So here we have to define our static files directory, right? So static files underscore directory. So I just simply define as a dir, and then here we have to define our static directory. So I just simply define as a static. So that will be our static directory. So, and also for the media, so here I also want to do included our media. So better I want to put some of the note for you. So it should be as a media. Okay, it will be as a media. And for the media, we have to define the two things. One will be as a media root. So I just simply define as a media and then underscore root, right? So that is will be our media root. Media root will be our media directory. And also we have to define our media URL, media underscore URL, and that will be our media URL path. So I have already defined this path, so that will be in our media. So I just simply define that media. And also another one for our logging URL. So I just simply define as a logging. So logging underscore URL, and for the logging URL right now I want to make that things as empty. Okay, so here we will add that things later. So that's all you have to do. That is our logging URL, media URL, media root, that is static, all the data, right? And also I have defined our every OS on particular that position. Perfect. And also here I want to add our crispy form. So if you want to add that crispy form, that means here we have to add that things in our install app. So friend, we already did this work, right? In our this project area, if you go into the setting, and into the setting here you can see we already did the same things. So that is our crispy form. So better I just simply copy it, and now I want to apply it on here. And also for the crispy form we have to define our template, that means the crispy template package. So for now I just copy it, and here after this I just simply paste it. Okay, that will be also as a Bootstrap 4. And now I want to create some of the project, that means one of the applications. So for now, for this project I want to create two applications. One will be our logging authentication will be needed, and also for the e-commerce I want to create another application. So for now here I want to define that name. So I just name it with that Pi. I think you already know about it, how if you want to create any kinds of application, then you have to define as a Pi and that manage.py and then start app, and I just name this as a app underscore logging. Okay, I just name it as a app underscore logging. So now if you click as a enter, now you can see it's now created one of the application. I have defined that name as a app logging. So now I want to create another one for our e-commerce. So I just simply define as a Pi and then manage.py and then start app, and I just name it as a app underscore shop. Okay, I just name it for the e-commerce. I have defined that another application name as a app shop. Now click as a enter. Yeah, now you can see it's now created another application as a app shop. So now we have to also add two of this. We have to add two of this in our setting, into the setting area. So after this I want to add, first of all it will be as a app underscore logging, right? And also there is another one I have created. So now also we have to defining it. So here we have to define as a app underscore shop. So I just define both of this on here. Perfect. Now I want to create some of the our static page, that means in our template. So into the template area I want to create two of this folder, and I just name it. One will be as a app logging, but I define the same name. So that will be as a logging. Okay, I just define one of the folder name as a app logging, and also I want to create another folder, and I just name it will be as a app shop. That means all that our shop related HTML file I want to save on here, and also all that our logging, that means the authentication related, all that file I will save in our particular that folder area. And also we need our base HTML, right? That means in our template area I want to create new file, and I just name it as a base.html. And also we will need another one after that logging. I will need our navbar. So it will be just like that same that we have already done in our previous section. I name it as a navbar.html. Okay friend. And also in our static, so into the static area I want to create one of the folder, and I just name that folder as a CSS. So into the CSS folder I want to create one of the file, and I just name it as a main. Okay, main.css. So this type of one of the file I just simply defining it on here. And also now we have to set our URLs. That means in our main application, that is our URL. So here right now we don't need this. I just simply remove it. So here also you have to define that some of the things, if you want to working with the images, you have to include that setting class and also the static. So it should be just like that same what exactly we did before for our social project. Like here right now, if you go to our URL, that means in our social project, into the setting, and that is actually URL. Okay, into the URL here you can see we need actually this, both of these. Better I just simply copy both of these, and now here after this I just simply defining it. Okay, and also after that path we have to also include our include function. That means here, so I just simply copy it, and now here after that I just simply include it. And then also we have to define our two of these, that means URL patterns. So better I just simply copy, and now here after that I just simply paste it. So that's all that functionality I have already discussed about that things with you, right friends? So if you want to use some of the images, then you have to add both of this. And then we have to create our map URLs. That means in our applications, into the application I want to create new file, and I just name it as a URLs. Okay, urls.py. And also in our app shop here I want to create another file as a URLs and .py, right? So right now there is a base HTML, we don't need this. I just simply remove it from here. So that is our main URL. That means that is our project URL. And now here what exactly we have to do? We have to include first of all. So here first of all we have to include, so that is our app logging. So here that form, and then Django, and then URLs, and from to the URLs I have to input our path. So I just simply define that path, right? And also we have to define our views. That means in our app logging here there is a view file. So now I also want to do that work as a form, and then our app logging. So from to the app logging here I want to input. So input our views. So I just simply define that views. Okay, and also after that we have to define that our name. That means our app name. So I just simply define that app name, and here I define that app name as the same as a app underscore logging. And then we have to define our URL pattern. So into the URL pattern right now I want to make that things as a empty. And also we have to do the same things. We have to add the same things for our app, that means app shop, and that is our URLs. So better here I just simply paste it. So it should be added that Django URLs, that is a path, and then it should be as a app underscore logging shop, right? The app shop. From here I want to input that views. That means that is actually the views. Okay, so that is actually the views. And in our app name here I define that app name as a app underscore shop, right? And then that is our URL pattern. Now I just click as a save all. Perfect. So now we have to add both of this. We have to include both of these in our main URL. That means in our project, into the project, that is our URL, right? So here I want to define two of this path. So better I just simply copy it, and that path will be for one will be for our home directory, and into the home directory here I want to include. Okay, I want to include, and into the position I want to include our app. That means our app shop. So here I define that shop. So into the app shop, and that is our URLs, right? So that is our URLs. And also I want to define another path. And this one will be for our logging, and here I define as an account. Okay, I define as an account slash, and then that should be include our app login, app underscore logging, right? That means our app logging URLs. So that is our app logging, and that is our URLs. So friend, that's all actually for our setup, right? So here we successfully set up our total project. So now step by step we will go more deep. So in our next video I want to create one of the model, and this model will be little bit different from our previous one. So in our previous all that section we use that model for create our existing database. That means our building database that is provided by the Django. So here we use this default all that functionalities. So right now for our e-commerce project I want to update our building admin dashboard. So how can do that work? In our next video I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.